The CIB team of Nepal Police seems to have gained a major breakthrough as it made 3 arrests in the past 24 hours in connection with the 100-kilogram gold scam. The arrestees include 2 Chinese nationals projected as the mastermind behind the gold smuggling. With this development, the CIB can now dig deeper into the case and crack this nexus of gold smugglers, which in recent time has been seen in the light of the national security concerns. Good evening, I'm Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Central Investigation Bureau arrests Rohan Adukia, the son of Rakesh Adukia, who is still on the run. CIB nabs 2 more Chinese nationals believed to be the main culprits in the gold scandal. 10 police officials taken in custody on alleged charges of beating 2 jail inmates to death. Altogether 19 in custody as Nepal Police investigates the death of 2 prisoners. The bodies of 23 Rohingyas who were fleeing Myanmar's Rakhine state recovered after their boat sank. 30 others still missing. 8 survived the mishap. And Sweden stunned former champions Japan with a 2-1 victory at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Spain edged past Netherlands to storm into semis. Rohan Adukia, the son of Rakesh Adukia, who is allegedly involved in the 100-kilogram gold smuggling, was arrested today. Prior to this, 2 more Chinese nationals were also arrested late yesterday. Rohan was arrested from the Trivandrum International Airport upon his arrival via Indigo Airlines flight. He was nabbed by the immigration and handed over to the Department of Revenue investigation. Police have been suspecting the involvement of Rakesh Adukia when gold was smuggled hidden in brake shoes through a Cathay Pacific flight on the night of 19th of July. Adukia has been on the run ever since. Meanwhile, 2 more Chinese nationals were arrested in connection with the gold smuggling from the TIA late last night. The Immigration Department arrested the 2 Chinese nationals, Li Jialin and Li Fuyan, suspecting that they were trying to flee the country through a Himalayan Airlines flight. The 2 Chinese are now being described as the main culprits in the scam. Prior to this, another Chinese national has also been arrested, while a Belgian national of Chinese origin and an Indian national have also been nabbed among the 18 arrests that have been made so far. The probe into the gold smuggling was carried out by Revenue Investigation Department, while it is now being looked after by the CIB. Ten police personnel have also been arrested as part of investigation on the deaths of 2 prison inmates in the eastern district of Sankhua Sabha. 9 other inmates were arrested on Wednesday after the incident took place. DSP Birendra Godar has said the police personnel were taken into custody after CCTV footage showed them beating the 2 inmates. On Wednesday, 19-year-old Binod Tolangi of Madi municipality of Sankhua Sabha and 28-year-old Akash Balami of Kakani rural municipality of Nuwakot had died. The prison guards initially said a clash between the 2 had occurred after they had failed in their attempt to escape the prison. Welcome back. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, why have local levels failed to introduce budgets on time? Your options are A. Political constraints, B. Lack of employees, and C. Ignoring rule of law. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Let's move on to the international update. The bodies of 23 Rohingyas who were fleeing Myanmar's Rakhine state have been recovered after their boat sank. 30 others are still missing, while 8 people are reported to have survived this mishap. The survivors said they were trying to reach Malaysia when their boat carrying more than 50 passengers foundered and was abandoned by its crew on Sunday. Every year, thousands of Rohingyas attempt the perilous sea journey to Malaysia or Indonesia. They are escaping persecution in Myanmar and overcrowded refugee camps in Bangladesh. Those who died this week include 13 women, 10 men, all Rohingya Muslims, a rescue team told the media. The Muslim Rohingyas are an ethnic minority in predominantly Buddhist Myanmar. Many of them fled to Bangladesh in 2017 to escape a campaign of genocide launched by the Burmese military. Those remaining in Myanmar too have been trying to flee since the military coup in 2021. Survivors of the boat sinking this week recall being struck by a large wave near Rakhine's capital, Sitwe. They say the smugglers, who had been paid around $4,000 per person for the journey to Malaysia, then abandoned the boat. The bodies of the victims have been picked up by other boats or washed up on the beach. The long journey across the Andaman Sea in overcrowded fishing boats is always dangerous, but especially at this time of the year, at the peak of the monsoon storm season. The 15-member Economic Community of Western African States, ECOWAS, has said it has resolved to activate its standby force in response to the recent coup in Niger, while underscoring its continued commitment to restore constitutional order in the country through peaceful means. In a statement at the end of an extraordinary summit in the Nigerian capital of Abuja, the regional bloc reiterated its strong condemnation of the coup in Niger, saying it upholds all measures and principles agreed upon by the urgent ECOWAS summit on July 30. The bloc also said it would enforce all sanction measures, in particular border closures and strict travel bans, on all individuals or groups whose actions hinder peaceful efforts to restore constitutional order in the country. The ECOWAS said all options are on the table for the peaceful resolution of the crisis and warned member states against directly or indirectly hindering the peaceful resolution of the crisis. This move by the West African bloc to mobilize the regional standby force followed the refusal of Niger's military junta to cede power to ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. The death toll from Maui's wildfire has now reached 55, which is expected to rise. Hawaiian officials say the wildfire unleashed destruction on the resort town of Lahaina, which will take many years and billions of dollars to rebuild. Governor Josh Green has said this was the worst natural disaster in the state's history, making thousands of people homeless and leveling as many as 1,000 buildings. The fast-moving inferno, which started on Tuesday this week, spread from the brush outside of town and ravaged the historic city of Lahaina that was once the capital of the Hawaiian kingdom. And moving on, persistent and severe drought in Afghanistan is not only taking its toll on the lives of farmers, but it's threatening the country's economy, a third of which is generated by agriculture and also food security. Experts say climate change will only worsen the drought. Higher temperatures, less rain and snow in the mountains will shrink rivers and prolong the drought. The Global Climate Risk Index has placed Afghanistan as the world's 6th most affected country by climate-related threats. 2 years after the Taliban took over in Afghanistan, as foreign troops withdrew, stretched water resources and the struggles of agriculture are one of the administration's top challenges. With a sharp reduction this year in humanitarian aid and no foreign government formally recognizing the Taliban, aid workers and diplomats say the level of development assistance to help with the problem is limited. The UN World Food Programme says 15.3 million people are facing acute food insecurity in the country of nearly 42 million people. The Taliban administration is building a huge 280-kilometer-long canal in the north, which, if successfully completed, could divert water for irrigation throughout northern provinces and improve the situation for farmers. But it is still years away for completion, and neighboring countries have raised concerns it will divert their water resources. Chinese competent departments have mapped out further measures and allocated more funds in flood relief and reconstruction as torrential rainstorms and floods wreaked havoc in parts of the country in the past few days. The Ministry of Emergency Management, the State Flood Control and Drought Relief Headquarters and several other government departments held another meeting this morning to work out flood control measures in affected regions such as the northern municipality of Tianjin as well as northeastern provinces of Liaoning, Jilin and Heilongjiang. Some rivers have exceeded their warning levels in recent days, and the Haihe River basin has seen flooding due to Typhoon Doksuri, seriously damaging water conservancy facilities in some areas. Unprecedented heavy rainfall since the end of last month has sent flood waters moving toward Tianjin after the torrents passed through upstream regions last week, including some cities in neighboring Hebei province. The Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Water Resources yesterday earmarked about $209.57 million for repairs to damaged water conservancy facilities in areas severely affected by Typhoon Doksuri. The funds will be allocated to 13 provincial-level regions, including capital Beijing. Record heat and historic floods in China this summer have failed to ignite domestic public debate about how the world's top carbon polluter can mitigate climate change, leaving campaigners frustrated at an opportunity missed. While state media and officials have said in the past that climate change makes China more vulnerable to extreme weather, few have made the connection this year and have been even more reluctant to link it to China's own emissions, now around a third of the global total and rising. China has set some bold green targets, including Xi's pledge to make the country carbon neutral by 2060, but experts warned Beijing to act faster and worried that the failure to engage the public would slow the transition. China's carbon dioxide emissions grew 10% year-on-year in the first quarter of 2023, rising by approximately 1% above the record levels seen in 2021, according to recent research by the Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.